Welcome
to the Age of Awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
Hey, Triple P Nation, welcome back to the podcast, where this week, like every week, we're going to explore the tools, tactics, and strategies to help you achieve personal and business mastery. I want to welcome everyone back to another great episode. Excited to be with you here today. Want to thank all you guys who are joining us on YouTube, all the podcast apps. Excited for everyone who has emailed me, sent us comments, particularly following our entrepreneurial series. Love the comments. Again, we're going to be doing a show on that shortly here. But because I haven't asked for a while, if you have yet to do a rate and review on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, please do so. Of course, hit the like and subscribe button, leave your comments below. Love to know what you thought, what you think. You like the show, what you don't like the show. You like my shirt, you don't like my shirt. Content's good. A few of you said, we've been doing a lot of business and leadership lately. Are you going to get back into any mindset and health? And I am. I'm going to be doing that fairly soon here. I just felt like where kind of the world is at, we're in a very tumultuous time during election year, that our entrepreneurs really need some guidance and some certainty, and at least be aware of what the trends are, be upfront and knowing that there are some headwinds coming, how you can mitigate those, and at the same time, how maybe you can rise above them and really succeed. Honestly, during economic downtimes, more millionaires and more people are reach financial success, believe it or not, than during when times are rocking and rolling. The first recorded time of that happening is during the Great Depression, where more millionaires were made than any other time previously in history. So, things are not always as bleak as it may seem, as long as we're prepared, as long as we have a good plan, as long as we got the right headspace, our energy's good, we got a great team around us, and we're prepared for success. And we're going to help you do that and continue to do that, because it's the mission of this podcast, to empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity. So this week, our Success Neck episode is about the 3 most important things to invest in. Now, I am not a financial advisor, and I don't have the credentials or necessary to make specific recommendations. And really, that's not what I'm doing here. These are more general. But there are 3 things that I have found that are really the most important that I want to invest in on a moment by moment, day by day, year by year. And these are the 3 things. 1 is quality of life. 2 is developing skills. And 3 is cash flow. Now, quality of life. What do you mean by that, Jay? Well, some of you may know or don't know, but I host a money mindset mastermind where I work with people who struggle attracting and creating money in their lives. Their challenge is they have a negative belief system around money. We all have a negative story, we all have a money story, and many of those stories are rooted in negative energy. So money has energy. And so if we believe that all things are energy, and they are based on quantum physics, everything is energy, that energy is either attracting or repelling things into our existence. And money's the same way. It's just a piece of paper with numbers. And of course, it's green and dirty and full of E. coli and stuff like that. But there's an energy to it. And that energy is what we give that money. And if that energy we give money is that money is abundance, it's fruitful, it's dynamic, it flows through us, it's used for good things, it allows us to provide and give to other people who are less fortunate, allows me to create a quality of lifestyle for my family, to create a legacy for other generations. If our belief is that money is good, we attract money. Now, there's way more to it. And by the way, if you want more information about our Money Mindset Mastermind, email me, Dr. J at Triple P Life, or check us out on, you can comment below here on the tube, or you can go to any of our social media platforms at Dr. J LaGuardia, and I'll get you more information about the Money Mindset Mastermind, because the people in the group are just making remarkable gains in attracting and creating revenue and the kind of prosperity that they deserve. So one of the things we do is we find out what your money story is. And then how does your financial situation impact your energy? So if you are not creating the kind of prosperity that you want, what's the energy that you're putting out? Because if it's low energy, guess what? You're only going to create less financial opportunity for yourself. There's a real parallel here to your energy, the thought and energy behind your money story, and your ability to create prosperity. Another thing is, are you triggered by people who have money? Do you feel jealous? Do you create or feel a sense of envy, right? Are you happy for them? Do you feel inspired by them? Do you feel a sense of failure through comparison? If you see people who have things that you want that you don't, does it make you feel less than? So we got to be very, very conscious of this particular thing, because here's the deal. Money has no charge. If we put money into something that feels risky or uncertain, it can create a level of stress that's going to impact our thoughts and our life. It's going to create a level of anxiety. And the thing is, some people are addicted to earning money and others are addicted to holding on to money. They're hoarders. Some do all they can to avoid even understanding the basics about money and dealing with it, and they leave it to other people, or they don't deal with it at all and they shirk their responsibility and they wonder why they never get ahead financially. These are all signs and symptoms of a negative energy towards money. And what we do is we help people get through that, work through that, give them the tools, and the results are incredible. Now, number 2 here is developing skills. I always recommend invest in skills that align with your purpose. If you're not working constantly to build your skill sets, you're falling behind. It's your skill sets which create added value, which continues to make you relevant and allow you to charge more for your time, energy, and services. If you are not pursuing increased skill development in any aspect that you may use as a resource to generate revenue, you're eventually going to fall behind and find yourself obsolete. And the thing is, guys, mental capital is required for sustained wealth and legacy. In other words, never stop learning and growing. And the third one is cash flow. And this simply could be paying off your loans, or it could mean acquiring cash flowing assets. I'll get more into this as time goes on. But the fact is, if you're not aware, the Congressional Budget Office is projecting Social Security to run out by 2033. Or let me repeat that, 2033. That's 9 years. It's going to be completely out of money. So if you are in retirement, close to retirement, or halfway through your career, that's a serious issue, isn't it? Now, you may say, well, they're going to figure it out. They might. But to do so, they're going to have to raise taxes dramatically. They're going to have to cut benefits dramatically. So no matter where you fall on the spectrum, it's going to impact you. Now, I learned early on, fortunately had really good mentors who taught me never to rely upon Social Security as a method for retirement. And so I learned early from a mindset standpoint is to develop a cash flow concept. In other words, most people retire with an asset, a nest egg, a 401k, and they just draw off that. The problem with that is we're living longer and most people are outliving their investment and they run out of money. But if you have cash flowing assets that produce month after month, year after year, you never have to drain your assets and you're still making money. So that's something we're going to get into here in the future. So 3 things, guys. I want you to put it on your list. I want you to invest in quality of life, assess your money story. 2, develop and continue to expand and develop your skills. And 3, start thinking in terms of cash flow. Okay. So today's topic is about solving problems like Elon Musk or Leonardo Da Vinci. I picked those 2 because I think no matter what you may think of them personally, no one could question their accomplishments and their contributions to humanity. I mean, Musk, think about it, right? He's been an entrepreneur and an engineer. He's known for founding SpaceX and Tesla, Neuralink, and the Boring Company. Now, he's widely recognized for his ability and his vision to solve problems approaching specifically like advancing in space exploration and sustainable energy and artificial intelligence. So there's no argument, right? The guy is brilliant and he's an incredible problem solver. Now, I love Leonardo da Vinci. He's probably one of my favorite historical persons. Of course, he's considered the Renaissance man, born in 1452, died in 1519. So, he just did so many things. He was, he excelled in the arts and science and engineering, anatomy, and so many other fields, right? His notebooks are filled with inventions and scientific observations that were way ahead of his time. So these are some really great thinkers and problem solvers. So I asked myself, what are some of the traits that differentiates these great problem solvers and thinkers of their time from virtually everyone else? And there's two things. One is emotional intelligence, and two is lifelong learning. Now, before I get into this, I want you to kind of understand where I'm coming from for today's topic and why I chose today's topic. Because we're in such a rapidly changing world. I read the other day that the amount or the rapidity in which technology is changing used to change, at a pace of 10 years where everything in our environment would change radically. Then it's 5 years. Now they're saying in the next 2 years with AI, things are going to change exponentially, like 10 times faster than every other time in history, which is going to be crazy wild, some awesome, some mind-blowing, some really scary. So we need to have really good problem-solving skills and be aware of what we can do to build our skill sets so we can face the future with confidence, at least some certainty, knowing that I have the skill sets necessary. I talked about it in our Success Snacks, necessary to find success for me and my family. So I mentioned what differentiates Musk and Da Vinci. So I said emotional intelligence. These guys possess a really high degree of emotional intelligence, which really helps them manage stress, and it allows them to navigate interpersonal dynamics and really to remain calm under pressure, which is what I spoke a lot about last week in dealing with crisis as leaders. Now, emotional intelligence, you've heard me talk about a lot. It's called EI. It's the ability to recognize and understand and manage effectively using your emotions on oneself and then on others. So in other words, is being in control of your emotions and in a way in which doesn't trigger other people. Now, this encourages really a wide range of skills and competencies that contribute to effective interpersonal relationships. It's the ability to be self-aware and to emotionally regulate. Emotional intelligence can be broken down really into some subcomponents here. So I said self-awareness, right? That's your ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, your values, your motivations, but also being self-aware with individuals that you're working with here, right? Are they conscious of their emotional state and how their emotions are affecting their thoughts and behavior or their interpersonal dialogue? And how do you deal with that in an effective way? If someone's going here, right? Do you match their tone and elevate here, right? Some personalities, absolutely not, because they're only going to go here and then eventually it goes out of control. Feelings get hurt. No one's ever heard. Nothing's ever accomplished. So how do you manage that interpersonal relationship to bring that tone and energy back down where people are starting to feel heard and valued? Another one is self-regulation. And that's the capacity to manage and regulate your own emotion in a really healthy manner. And this includes really being able to control your impulse behaviors, right? Your impulse emotions, maintaining a composure in stressful situations, and then adapting to the environment and how it changes around you. And then, of course, motivation, that's your ability to drive and pursue goals with energy and persistence. Emotionally intelligent people are often motivated by intrinsic factors such as personal growth and their achievement and sense of purpose, and rather than, external rewards. So that's some of the things as it relates to emotional intelligence. And again, if you are a follower of the show and you listen to the show regularly, I talk about this a lot. At the core essence of a lot of the cultural issues that we're dealing with is a low intelligence quotient, higher than ever been before. I had a great guest on last year, Laura Dern, who wrote a great book. She's from the University of Michigan on emotional intelligence. And she said the current work generation has the lowest emotional intelligence score in history. Their capability of dealing with crises, of dealing with obstacles and challenges, their ability to communicate in an effective manner, communicate their emotions, being calm, is really quite poor. And this generation is going to struggle significantly until they learn these skills. So EI is essential for lifelong success. There's no question about it. And then the other characteristics I mentioned was lifelong learning. These great problem solvers, guys, are really committed to conscious learning or continuous learning. Of course, Da Vinci is no longer with us, but Musk is always, expanding his mindset. So they keep themselves constantly updated and with the latest knowledge and skills in his field, which helps him stay ahead of the emerging challenges. In fact, he sees what's already ahead before anyone else does. So let's talk about some of the characteristics that these guys exhibit that perhaps you have, perhaps you're really good at, or perhaps you can improve upon. We'll give you some ways to do that. But at the very least, so you're aware of what they are. So in your own environment, in your family, at work, in business, you have the skill sets to become a great problem solver. Now, why is that so important? Because the better you are at solving problems, the more valuable you become to your boss, to your coworkers, if you own a business, to your customers and consumers. I believe that entrepreneurship can be changed. What we could call it is problem solving. If you have a product or service from somebody, you're solving a problem or a need that they have that's going to make their life better. So why not learn how to be the best problem solver you know? Because the more you solve problems, the higher and the more you will elevate in life, the more you will earn, the more prestige you will create. We don't do it for prestige, but the more prestige you will earn. So let's dive into it. So number one is being curious, having an open mind. See, great problem solvers are really curious and open to new ideas and new concepts. And they're constantly seeking to understand how things work. And they're willing to explore even the most unconventional solutions. They're not rigid in their thoughts. They're very adaptable to their environment. And they're willing to bring in and to entertain new thoughts, concepts, and ideas. They're also willing to seek it out from other sources. Another characteristic is great problem solvers are analytical thinking. What does that mean? Well, they can take some of the most complex problems and condense it down into smaller, more manageable parts. And this involves identifying the core components of a problem and understanding their relationships to its environment or to the situation at hand. The third is great problem solvers have a level of creativity and they're innovative. See, effective problem solvers think outside the box and they're really not afraid to try new approaches. They often come up with creative solutions that others might not have even considered. Think about it in your own life, right? Where you've done one thing your whole life one way, and someone either suggested a different way that was more effective, more efficient with a better outcome, but you were so rigid in your path that you were unwilling to consider doing it differently. And then out of necessity, you had to do it differently. Either the process didn't work or the technology no longer existed, and you tried it a new way. You're like, why didn't I do that before? So we really have to remove ourselves oftentimes from the known, because these people are willing to embrace the unknown and they're willing to get uncomfortable. So another characteristic that these great problem solvers have in common, that they're persistent and they're really resilient. You hear this a lot with successful people, is resiliency. You see, problem solvers are determined and they're resilient because they're able to persist through failure and setbacks. And they view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than making them feel so insurmountable that they become this major wall that they're unable to traverse over. And the thing is, very important, they never make excuses. Talked about this last week as far as victimization goes in leadership. So when you are faced with a big adversity, do you look for opportunities to take lessons from that that's going to help you expand and grow adding to your skill sets so that the next time you face one, you'll be able to handle it with grace and work through it quite quickly. And then owning the situation as for what it is. Another one here that we look at is that critical thinking. So these great problem solvers evaluate information critically, and they discern between relevant and irrelevant information. They're really good at that, looking at, you know what, this doesn't pertain to this particular situation. This is very important. So this way, their minds don't get cluttered with a lot of useless information and data. And they can assess the validity of different sources and the arguments that are made to make better, more informed decisions. See, being right is not important to them. It's not about ego, but rather it's about getting it right, which is the most important. They don't care who gets the credit. And I find this one to be the one that many people lack. And I lacked it early on in my career as well, too. I had to be the guy. I want to make sure, I was the hero of the story. Sometimes you have to be the supporting role and let other people be the hero. All right, the next characteristic is these people are flexible and they're adaptable. They can adapt to any new situation, and they're really flexible in their thinking. So when a solution doesn't work, they're quick to pivot and then try something different. They also are great at focusing on the attention to detail because they pay close attention to the details, which helps them identify potential problems early, allowing them to understand the nuances of the issue that they're addressing. They're really good at collaboration and communication. They're effective problem solvers, often work well in teams, and they leverage the strength of each individual based on the individual perspectives. They communicate clearly, and they articulate their thought process and solutions very, very effectively. And they enjoy being challenged. I often find, too, when problems arise, that people shrink to them. In other words, if your mindset is, oh, it's a challenge, let's step up and let's figure it out, let's get it done, or it's like, oh my God, there's another problem, I don't want to deal with it. If you choose the latter mindset, you're going to make any problem significantly worse, more difficult to solve, and it's going to cause more stress in your life. If you embrace it, very, very different. Very different energy. It's like energy with money, right? If you embrace the energy that money is good and can be put to good use, not only for you, but those around you, you're opening the channels for money to flow through you. Same thing with problem solving. Great problem solvers also think in terms of systems. I'm a simple guy. I like systems. I like them really simple too, by the way. Simple guy with simple systems. Because I can reproduce them and know I'm going to get a certain outcome. So problem solvers understand how different parts of a system interact and then influence one another. And this becomes a very holistic view, which allows them to identify root causes and foresee potential ripple effects of those solutions. And they also prevent more problems that way. And then finally, problem solvers are decisive. One of my mentors told me, he said, great leaders are decisive. They're able to look at a situation and then intuitively read the situation, right? Gather the data necessary, and sometimes make a decision even without all the data at hand, but they're taking action, and that action moves them towards the solution. So decisiveness, while thoroughly analyzing the problem is really great, they also take action, as I mentioned, right? So they know when they have enough information to get moving, to act, and to act confidently. And they're really great at negotiating and bringing people together based on a single purpose and vision. So let me just wrap this up. The characteristics of great problem solvers, and make a mental note to yourself. Are you curious and open-minded? Right? Score yourself on a 0, 1 to 10. 0 is like, hell no. 10 is, I rock this all the time. And by the way, if you give yourself 10s on all of them, I think you're fibbing. No one's perfect at any of these. Because now you're going to find where you can start to build those skill sets and start to work on it and look for resources to make yourself the best problem solver that you know. Okay, so here we go. 0 to 10, guys. Curiosity, open-mindedness. How curious and open-minded are you? 0 to 10. Score yourself now. By the way, if you're driving, pull over. Number 2, are you an analytical thinker? Can you break down complex problems into smaller ones? And if you can't, is there someone within your orb, in your sphere, that you can rely upon to do so? 1 to 10. Number 3, Are you creative and innovative? Do you look for unique approaches to solve problems? Number 4, are you persistent and resilient? Do you see problems as major obstacles? Do they hold you back? Or do you see them as challenges to learn, to grow, to get better, and to develop new skill sets? Number 5, are you critical thinker, right? Can you discern between relevant and irrelevant data? Can you assess the validity of different sources and arguments to make better, more informed decisions? 0 to 10. Number 6, are you flexible and adaptable? Right? Can you think on your feet? Can you shake and jive? If one solution doesn't work, can you quickly pivot to another one? Number 7, do you pay attention to detail? Do you look at the nuances to help identify potential problems and understand those as you're addressing those? Number 8, collaboration and communication, 0 to 10. Are you an effective problem solver and work well in teams, leveraging the strength of people around you? And number 9, systems. Do you have processes that differentiate the systems that allows you to work through the problem holistically, viewing it in a manner in which will take you to a viable outcome? And number 10, again, score on a scale of 0 to 10, can you analyze problem quickly, pivot, move, and make a decision? Okay, so out of a possible 100, if you got less than 50, you need a lot of work of improving your problem-solving skills. If you got a 70 or less, or 70 to 50, you're on your way, but you still have work to go to improve. And you want to identify the top 3, right? Which is the one that you score the least on? And let's tackle that one first. If you're 80 or above, right? Good for you. Good for you. You've got the foundation to be a great thinker, right? If you're 90 to 95 above, well, hello, the next Elon Musk and Leonardo Da Vinci. Give me a call. I'd love to have a conversation with you. So another great reminder of the resources that we need personally for our growth and our business and our life: problem solving, leadership, okay, crisis management, all these things that are going to elevate your game in life and business. That's what we're here for. So you can empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining me this week. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to be behind this mic, having a conversation with you and talking about some of these things that, frankly, I don't really hear a lot. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. You know, whether you listen to crime stories or politics or sports or whatever it might be. I mean, there's great podcasts out there. But again, this is about practical tools. And sometimes it's a little dry because it's analytical in its approach. But nonetheless, you know, think of it as like a mini book. 30 minutes, you're getting a book that allows you to just take those skill sets, run with them, and really get yourself rocking and rolling in the right direction. So, all right, guys, as I always say, you be you. Just be the best you. And I promise you, you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and rock your prosperity. So guys, until next time, be well.